Hi y'all. Tuna is not my new cat. Tuna is actually going home at the end of this week. Tuna is my friend Devin's cat. I've been cat sitting for almost a month now because he's been traveling and she's been the sweetest angel ever, but unfortunately she is not my forever cat. She has a wonderful loving home. It is currently Wednesday. I have to roast some chickpeas because I bought a 4-pound bag of chickpeas maybe last year, and I finally decided to soak some up and cook it. And then yesterday I found like a bunch of little grainy active dry yeast looking particles, and I was like, this looks sus, like extremely sus. And I was trying to figure out what the fuck it was, and I think I've come to the conclusion that it might be like either bug poop or bug larva. I did not feel like tossing out the entire bag because the beans themselves looked fine, but what happened was I rinsed off all of the yeasty looking poopy things, and I soaked the beans, and they looked fine, except some of the beans have this like dark spot. You see that? So I've been gradually picking these out, but obviously I'm not gonna catch all of them. I have a lot of chickpeas cooked. I was thinking of making hummus, but I don't have lemon juice, so maybe I'll just eat them. I have these 2 jars cooked. I have some aquafaba that I think we can make some brownies with, which is why I wrote brownies ? And I have a shit ton of frozen cooked chickpeas now in my freezer as well, because I didn't want those chickpeas sitting in my pantry. I wanted to get rid of them ASAP. I also didn't want to waste them. So we ended up cooking all of whatever capacity my Instant Pot could handle. And then we are left with these, which have been soaked overnight. And I think what I'm going to try to do is roast them into like crunchy chickpea snacks. So while we're roasting these, we're also going to be trying to make a brownie of sorts, because I don't know about y'all, this week I have been feeling pretty shitty. On Monday I woke up around 4:30 a.m. to do an action and document it with a group of friends, and did not sleep well. And ever since Monday, I've been feeling like my body is dying. I don't have any other symptoms. I'm not sneezing. My throat isn't hurting. I don't think it's COVID, but I could have triggered my long COVID by not taking care of myself, by not sleeping enough. I tried to work out one day this week. I felt even shittier the next day. So I think this is what they mean by avoiding the burnout cycle with chronic fatigue syndrome. It's just like you have to not push your body, and I think I pushed my body on 2 different fronts, and now I'm suffering. So because of my physical shittiness, I've also noticed my mental health declining, and with that I've been noticing my depressive eating patterns returning, which is to say I bought a jar of tahini and 2 jars of peanut butter, and I've now consumed almost a full jar of peanut butter and half a jar of the tahini in just the span of a week, which is my depression food pattern. Except now it's spring, it's not even winter anymore. So this round, I'm trying not to judge myself for eating what I did, because I am recognizing that I yearn for those foods when I feel a certain way, and eating those foods in that quantity is a symptom and a sign that alerts me to, hey, you're not doing well. So all of that to say, I finished all of the Czech chocolates, but I'm still yearning for something sweet on hand. And so we're going to try to make some aquafaba brownies. We'll see. Mental health, numb. Physical health, bad. Energy level, 10%, all day, every day. And no, I have not tried pharmaceutical medication for depression. I don't think I've ever gotten to a place where I feel like I needed it. So I am currently not at a place in my life where I want them. But I'm not saying no to them. Before I used to say no to them. Now I'm just like, I don't know if I need them. I'm sure if my depression ever gets to a place where I'm like, I cannot function anymore, I need them, then I'll try them. So we're going to drain these chickpeas and rinse them. And just pick through them and get rid of the ones that look a little more sus. But yeah, I was basically talking to my friend yesterday, and I was like, you know what, this chickpea incident today, it's a turning point in my life. I've decided that I will only buy bougie beans from now on, especially in the amount that I'm prone to eating them in. Spending more money on higher quality beans will probably enable me to not binge on them as much either, so it'll be like a win-win all around, and I'm at a place where I recognize that, like, I'm just too old to be standing here for an hour picking through beans. And maybe I don't need to buy 4-pound bags of beans for $4. Maybe I can spend $8 on 1 pound of beans. You know? Maybe I've come to that crossroads in life where I am shifting. My reality is shifting. So you can put them in the air fryer too. Yeah, I bet. Yes, I have tried shrooms. I've done them 3 times now. They do help me quite a bit. I would rather use like more naturalistic medicine than pharmaceutical medicine. But yeah, I polled people on my Instagram this week and I was like, how are you feeling? Literally 0 responses that are positive. Like, everyone who responded to that story feels like shit. So it's either the following that I still retain on Instagram is just prone to depression and body aches and sadness like I am, which is very plausible because I've been losing about 100 followers weekly on average for the last month. I've lost about, I would say, almost over 2,000 followers since October 7th. I'm not surprised. I thought there would be more, actually. What I am surprised by is that 6 months down the line, I am still getting a very gradual unfollowing rate. That is puzzling. So I don't know if that's the algorithm doing it or if people are just fed up finally after years of following my depressive ass on Instagram, but whatever the case may be, that's what's been happening. That's what I've been observing. I'm not bothered by it because at this point, fuck social media, whatever. If we're all gonna die, then nothing really matters, does it? Okay, so, let's roast some chickpeas. We're gonna coat them in olive oil and then I'm going to toss them in spices. I have so many spices. Bean is a delightful name for a cat. Okay, I think we should do, ooh, yes. Let's do a little combination Vindaloo masala or Kashmiri masala? Maybe both. Okay. A little bit of both of these on one. And then we can do a little Creole seasoning and taco blend together maybe. Let's start with those. These sound promising. Taco blend and Creole seasoning together, and then Vindaloo and Kashmiri masalas on the other. I did shrooms for the first time about half a year after my mom passed. I did it in the same month as my first tattoo, and I feel like those two choices combined kind of kick-started like a shift in my world perspective and the way I mentally framed myself. And I think it was a good necessary step for me at that point in my life. I think the grief had gotten pretty overwhelming and all-encompassing, and I was waiting for some new thing to like pull me out of a hole. And those two things definitely helped me on some level to shift, which was very necessary, I think. MDMA I have not done yet. So, yeah. Okay. We're going to put half of this on one tray, roughly, and then half on another tray, roughly. Okay. And then this will help us see what other beans need to get tossed. Great. Wonderful. So for the Kashmiri masala and the Vindaloo, there is no salt in here. Correct. So I'm going to be adding in a little bit of black salt, which is pretty traditional in South Asian cuisine, I think. It's got like a eggy, sulfuric kind of fartiness to it, but once it's combined with spices, it loses a lot of that kind of funky character. Okay. The Yo Quiero taco blend has salt, and so does the Creole seasoning. So we're good on these. We're just gonna sprinkle them on and let them rock and roll on their own. Cool beans. All right, kids. So I'm gonna turn the oven to 350. And they might just bake for an hour in there, we'll see. About every 15 minutes we can check. But we're gonna try to formulate our brownies, which I should be following a recipe. There's a lot of things I should be doing. I'm probably not going to do them. I think I've decided to not do them. Let me gather. Okay, what I do want to do, however, I want to put some actual cocoa nibs into these brownies. Now, I got some cocoa nibs when I went on that Burlap and Barrel work trip last August or September, I can't remember, and I got these. They taste great. But I also got these from LA. I think we should start using them. I'm also noticing some questionable ones in here, so I'm gonna pour them out on a tray and sort through them. Let's see what might be happening here. We're just gonna toss some of the more questionable ones. I mean, after that chickpea incident, I really don't know. It really clues me into like how you really can't guarantee a lot of things, you know? Because shit grows in the ground, and then nature interacts with it, and then things spoil. That's just the way of the world. So, like, I don't know, it's almost nice to be reminded of the fact that, like, nothing is eternal, and shit can go bad, and you should, like, maybe use them before they go bad, sort of thing. It's very much, I think, a lesson Mom could have used ahead of time, maybe. And you know what? Just to be safe, I might toss this tray in the oven to like kind of give it a sterile pass today, since we have the oven on. But let's see. Yeah, some of them have like this white film on top, and so I'm not really sure what that means. I'm not really familiar with cacao beans as an ingredient, so if you know what's going on, you let me know, because I certainly do not know. Funnily enough, the LA ones look a little more intact, and the Mexican ones look like more questionable in terms of the white bloom. I'm just not sure what's happening with the white bloom. Doesn't look like mold either. But since I don't know what it is, if the bean is covered in it, I'm choosing to throw it out. And I've been fighting the urge this week actually to like buy even more groceries because of this reason. Because of the fact that I've been noticing that I just tend to keep shit around and then they don't get used up. And then I get really sad when they spoil. And I'm like, well, you knew it was gonna happen, right? Okay. These are like cacao seeds, basically, cacao nuts. All right, we're gonna blend this LA batch up. And we're gonna make some funky brownies with butter and aquafaba and sugar or honey. I have a lot of honey to use, so honey could be good too, actually. Let's get rid of some of the honey in here. Ooh, I have like a hot honey. That could be good in brownies, sure, why not? I also have some sugarcane molasses and date syrup to use in case I don't have enough sugar. I have some Chinese red sugar that we can use. I have this organic muscovado sugar that Samira brought back from the Philippines for me, so that's cool. And I also have some of my normal sugar that I can use up to free up that jar. We are abundant in goodness. I feel very lucky. All right. So another thing that's been really bumming me out is New York City green markets have finally lost funding for composting. So I think after May, there's not going to be very effective composting anymore. Turns out the city's brown bins program is like a scam. Like they don't actually compost the stuff they collect. So I don't know, y'all. It just feels like this year is a bummer, a true bummer. All right. I'm gonna grind this in my spice grinder, which is small, not as big as my Vitamix. All the plugs are on this side of the kitchen. And I think as I'm grinding the cacao up, I'm also going to throw in a few lavender flowers. Lavender brownie, anyone? Also really old lavender from like 2018. Okay, noise. Even more. Did you come here expecting me to not be negative ever? Come on, come on. Very, very fruity and bitter. That's fun. Okay. Very good. You're right though, I should be less negative. It's all about the mindset. I didn't go see Grandma today because I felt really burnt out. I've been having a hard time waking up in the morning, so I told her I wanted to take a break. She said okay. Every day that I do visit her, we've stopped going outdoors. She huffs and puffs and loses her breath when we try to put on clothes to go outside. So all I've been doing is just sitting with her in her bed and doing breathing exercises and body scans. And I guess today I didn't do that. So that might be why I'm a little frazzly. I also thought I would be done with my newslettering by now, and I realized I forgot something right before I went on this live, so I think that's also contributing to my mindset of frazziness. I don't think frazzy is a word, but it is now. I love it. Frazzy. Make it hype. Okay. Brownies. I think we should do butter. I opened these really expensive ass maraschino cherries that expired December 2023. Last year, I think, when I was in my situationship. I haven't used them in almost a year. I think we're gonna drain some of the syrupy liquid from here into the brownies for our trash brownies. Feeling a lot of feelings right now. This jar came from the Delish Test Kitchen, so it's like a relic of sorts. We're gonna go ahead and melt this butter. Nice. That butter rose to the lips of that container and was just about to boil all over my microwave, and I caught it just in time. All right, in with the cacao that we just ground. That's about 110 grams. Seems really intense. I'm also going to add in some of my Trader Joe's cocoa powder because we like using multiple cocoa powders. Okay. About 20 grams of that, so about a quarter cup. I'm going to add a little bit of health. I'm going to add some chia seeds and flax seeds in here. Just because I feel like it, not because of anything else. But I think it could be fun in texture, especially because these are going to be eggless brownies. All right. Let's see. It's going to be very, very raw feeling brownies for sure, with the cocoa nibs and all of that. I'm trying to smooth out all the clumps of cacao and powder before we add in our butter. So that was about 4 tablespoons of butter. I think we need some extra fat in here beyond that. We can go in with a little bit of olive oil maybe. So let me just try to distribute this out and see what it looks like. I want it to form a slightly runny paste. So I want there to be enough fat to make this slightly runny. I would say that was about 2 tablespoons at least of oil. But yeah, that's the consistency I'm going for. Slightly runny. It's a paste, but it's not like solid paste. Okay. We're going to add in a little bit of vanilla powder. And then we're going to go in with sugar. I really do want to get rid of this honey. It's been sitting in here for so long and it's getting hard, so I'm gonna microwave that up. We're gonna go in with a little bit of spicy honey, habanero honey. Not too much because this is actually very, very spicy and potent. Okay. Very spicy. Woo. The beans are 20 minutes in. We can check up on them shortly after this. This is honey that Aaron's dad, Jeff, got me actually from upstate New York. That I added hibiscus powder to this because Burlap and Barrel was selling a hibiscus infused honey with Cliff Family, aka Cliff Bars, Cliff Family, I think. And I didn't get my hands on that honey, so I was like, oh, I wonder what hibiscus honey tastes like. So I added some hibiscus powder into this jar of honey. Didn't really infuse fully. You could see the granularity of the hibiscus still, kind of just suspended in the honey. So there's that. I think I will save this jar and maybe make some overnight oats in them because it's still got honey in it. Yeah, I mean, you can microwave almost anything and make it runny. But it will solidify even harder after it cools, so you just have to kind of seize the moment, you know, make sure you get it in that golden window before it sets again, because every time you microwave it, you are cooking it, which means you are going to caramelize the sugars a little bit every time. All right, we're going to taste our progress just to check for sweetness right now. Sorry, my phone's not feeling very good today either. Definitely need some salt. It's tasting very dirt-like with all of the cacao, the raw cacao. Damn, my Chinese sugar really stiffened up here. Oh, that's a bummer. I might microwave this sugar to see if I can get the clumps to disappear. Oops. We won't need very much of it because it is very molasses heavy in the flavor profile. So I don't want to overwhelm the brownie with too much molasses as it is already very earthy. But yeah, in this case, some bread would be good in here. Bread could make brown sugar loosen up. An apple slice, I hear, can be good too. All right, that might be all I need for now. So just 2 tablespoons of this. We're gonna microwave it and see if it does anything. I'm gonna throw some silica packets in here and see if it does anything. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Didn't really get rid of the clumps. We're just gonna toss it in there. Hope it does its thing. Some actual sugar. It's reading 90% chocolate bitter right now. We're gonna add some of this honey from Bushwick Kitchen, which has beeswax in it, which I think would be kind of cool baked into a brownie. The beeswax might add a certain texture. I've just been chewing on the beeswax and then spitting it out, but I wonder what it would taste like incorporated into a baked good, you know? Been dreaming about it this week, so let's do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Wait, what am I ignoring you on? I would not use a blender for the brown sugar, no. I don't want to break any machines. Maybe I'll collect some bread that Grandma isn't eating next time I visit and throw it in my seized, hardened block of red sugar. All right. Mixture is looking nice and shiny. I don't know if the lighting is catching that. I like to see that shine in brownie batters for sure. I think I will be adding some aquafaba and flour to this mixture too, so. That's a very fruity brownie. No flour in here yet. Don't worry, we'll get to it. We're adding our aquafaba now. This is just bean liquid. Very gelatinous, as you can see. This has a little bit of salt and baking powder, or baking soda in it, rather. And after this, I will start to incorporate flours. What flours, you ask? Great question. Wonderful question indeed. We're going to add a little bit of almond powder. We're going to add a little bit of buckwheat powder. Buckwheat is kind of salty and weird and grainy. I think it's going to go well with the vibe. We're going to add a little bit of rye berries that I ground up into the flour, and we're going to add a little bit of whole wheat pastry flour. So 4 types of flours, if you want to count it like that. One of which is gluten-free, one of which is a nut. Okay. So, almond flour goes in first, so we can make sure it gets fully incorporated and hydrated. This is to add a little bit of fattiness and nuttiness. Love almond flour and gluten-free baking. I find that it's a really nice all-purpose substitute in cookies and quick bread sometimes, but it does burn easier. So be careful the temperature you bake this at. Do not attempt to make actual yeasted bread with almond flour. It will not work. Next up, we are going to be adding buckwheat flour. That's it. Rye flour. I've never baked this blindly before where I'm not even weighing the ingredients. So I have no idea how this is going to turn out. And that's whole wheat pastry flour. What is bamboo fiber? Like in cookware or in like clothes? What kind of bamboo flour are we talking here? Hi Ram. Everybody wish Ram a healthy week ahead. I think all of us are getting a little sick. So wish all of you health above all. Okay, let's see. Ooh. That's nice. Nice. I'm going to fold in a little bit of sesame seeds. And I feel like I want a little bit of nutmeg maybe, or something. Something to really drive home the weirdness. Yeah, you can't send a link on YouTube chat unless you're a mod. Sorry about that. But you can send it to me on Instagram if you want. I think this might be a good consistency, but it might be a little dry. Maybe a little extra aquafaba in here. And then finally the cherry liqueur. Very tart, very sweet. Think it'll be good. It's now been 35 minutes for the beans. They don't look burnt at all. They in fact do not look roasted at all, but I plucked one bean out and we can taste it. It's here. I do feel a little bit compelled to eat an apple right now. I had a pretty salty, heavy lunch. I feel like my body is kind of crying from all the abuse I've subjected it to. So maybe after this brownie is in the oven, we can eat on an apple. Cardigan is not Mom's. I actually thrifted this off of a stand in Greenpoint, the person who was selling it was like, her mother-in-law knitted this for her. And I was like, okay, how much do you want for it? And she's like, how much are you willing to pay for it? And I'm like, girl, that's putting a lot of pressure on me. You just told me that your mother-in-law made this for you. Like, what? Oh, a bean just exploded in the oven, so something's going on. In any case, I bought it for something like $10. I don't think I paid more than $10 for it. It would have been ludicrous for me to pay more than $10 for this. More beans are popping. Do you hear it? They're exploding. The beans are exploding. The chickpeas are not crispy, but they are cooked. You may ask a serious question if you want. Wow, those beans are really exploding. What the fuck? Are you hearing this? I'm gonna have burnt beans all over the bottom of my oven. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. I don't get royalties, no. I've never gotten a single penny of royalties from Budget Eats. But please watch them. Like, what would one viewer view do? Let's be honest. Our whole world is run by corporations that don't pay their workers. I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but the content is out there. Watch it. If it gives you joy, that makes me happy. Knowing that you watching a show that you enjoy that I made makes me way happier than me getting royalties for that show. My ex asked me yesterday when I told him that I think happiness is a cult, the pursuit of happiness is a cult. He was like, okay, well, what does June pursue? And I said, I pursue connection. And I think above all else, Budget Eats has allowed me to connect with so many people. And that is the aspect that I am so grateful for in terms of what we were able to create together through Budget Eats during the pandemic. You know, there was a lot of connection happening because of that show, and I think that's pretty fucking priceless. Capitalism will put a price tag and a money exchange and a currency exchange on everything. We don't have to let it rule our lives. You know? I don't know. What is connections? Never heard of it. Or maybe I have, but I just don't remember it. I know for a fact that the ad revenue on my Budget Eats videos must be hundreds of thousands of dollars now, just based on my one H Mart haul video and seeing, I don't remember how many views exist on my own H Mart video, but part of why I wanted to do videos after Delish was to see if I could do these videos on my own, which I did, I could, and to see how many views they would pull in. And the H Mart video pulled in so many views, and just based off of the ad revenue off of like a 6-month span on a fraction of the views that the Delish Budget Eats videos get. Like, I can project how much money they've made off of the ad revenue off of those videos, and to know that when I got fired, they offered me a severance of $9,000, like, what a fucking slap in the face. But you just have to walk away from those moments, because if I stay angry about that shit, if I think about that shit, that's more energy that I'm giving them that I don't need to. They don't hurt the way I hurt. So there's no reason why I should make myself hurt. I mean, Hearst is a shit show, you know, that whole place is a shit show. During the pandemic, they could not, the finance department of a huge media corporation could not work out how to give workers proper reimbursement for their utilities. Our union had to argue repeatedly for them to reimburse our cell phone fees, which many people were giving out their, you know, personal cell phones to conduct business on, because they didn't give us money to buy a new phone that was business oriented and specific. Just knowing that that place does what it does, like, is enough for me to stay the fuck away. I learned. You live and you learn. Alright, Ram, this weird ass brownie is for you, made in your honor. We were supposed to hang out, but Ram is unfortunately sick. So we're gonna put some sprinkles on top of here in honor of what Ram wanted. We're gonna see how these bake. They're rainbow and rose petal flavored sprinkles. Ram, don't worry. I have a feeling this brownie is going to taste really disgusting. The batter tastes fine, but based on my experience of such brownies where the batter tastes fine but is questionable, it's usually going to bake out awfully. But in any case, you get to witness the shit show. And it is absolutely covered in sprinkles right now, okay? Covered. And because we are going so extra for you, we're gonna add some windblown pearl salt. These cute little babies are basically savory sprinkles. So a little bit of a sweet and salty topping. Okay, because we're bougie out here. And honestly, guys, if you are a salt freak, you need that pearl salt. The crunch, the buttery flavor of that salt. I've had a lot of like fancy bougie salt, but like the satisfying curve of having a BB gun bullet salt in your mouth, crunching between your teeth, melting on your tongue. It's very nice. It's very nice. It's very nice. It is probably my favorite salt from Burlap and Barrel. Okay, so we're ready to slide this into the oven. Let me see what I can do to shift the trays around a little bit in there. We're gonna set a timer for 25 minutes on my microwave for the brownies because it's only 10 minutes left on the hour for the chickpeas. Yes, that salt is amazing for steak. It's also amazing on mushrooms. That one time that I made the mushrooms on the live, holy crap, that was so good. I have to charge you now because it's telling me that my battery's about to run out. So you're gonna shift here. One of you asked how well my piercing is healing. It's okay. When there's boogery stuff and it hardens and I flip with it, it hurts. I try not to do it, but you know, sometimes it's just like an involuntary automatic thing. Do you cook with insects? No, not really yet, but you know, when the time comes, sure. Who can avoid it? Roses are not food. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Chickpea just burst. I'm reading all of your very kind comments. I should read it on my computer. I don't know why I'm reading it on my phone when it is so hard to read on my phone. Sometimes when you're struggling, your body is just not smart. Let's see what y'all said. Carrageenan is bad for cat stomachs. Apparently it's also bad for human stomachs. I'm roasting the chickpeas at 350, but I've done chickpea roasting tutorials before for Delish, and I think you can go up to 375. It's just that this oven runs a little bit hotter, so I stayed at 350. The actual temperature of my oven right now is probably 375. Thank you for all of the Budget Eats praise and feedback. That will be the defining project of my life, and I am fully satisfied that I hit my golden era in the public eye at the age of 30 or 32 or however old I was. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that I was able to, you know, make connections with people, absolute strangers. Grocery shopping spots here in Queens. Oh, that's cool. I do most of my shopping now for veggies and eggs anyway at the farmer's market. I've decided that because I don't have health insurance that it's worth the splurge, and it actually does make me feel way better to buy most of my fresh food at the farmer's market. Yeah, fuck Hearst, not just for me, but just in general, fuck them. There's nothing redemption worthy for the way they do business at all. What's the net worth of that corporation? Billions, I don't know. They have so many shadow investments in like the healthcare industry and all of that. Who knows? It's family owned too. It's owned by the Hearst family, so you know, they got their little snaky roots and everything. If it tastes bad, just send it to Delish. I wouldn't even. Why would I do that? That's so much work. They will monetize the brownies. Yes, Ram, you can take the whole fucking jar of salt if you want, okay? Just get better first and take care of yourself first. Yes, unions are so important. And I've met people who criticize unions. Yeah, unions are not perfect, but guess what? If you live in shit, unions are at least a step above the shit. Let's just put it that way. If we're gonna aim for perfection, yeah, unions are not perfect. But what do you get by aiming for perfection in a world where they run on mutilation of ideals? I don't know. You got burlap and barrel smoked. Okay, the smoked paprika is very smoky. I'm just warning you right now, go light. Your first few rounds, go light on it. I don't really buy meats, but I go to Chinese grocery stores to get chicken bones sometimes. But if I do want to eat meat, I'm trying to transition over to the farmer's market as well. Unit price is probably about 4 times as expensive as like grocery store, slaughterhouse shit. But I eat meat so rarely now. I eat meat most of the time when I eat out with friends in restaurants, but when I just buy stuff for myself, I buy it like 4 times a year. So aside from chicken bones, which the farmer's market doesn't sell most of the time, there's no reason for me not to spend money on better raised animals. So thank you for the Californian meal offer. It's so kind. People are so kind. I'm very thankful for the kindness of strangers. I don't need a backer to do my own show. I think once I have the motivation and the energy to do my own show, then I will do my own show. And I think as a person who is so like control obsessive, to put my face and personality in someone else's hand is going to make me feel like I'm cheating myself out of an experience. So if I do make a show, I want to be the person making the show, you know? Can you show me how you cut your carrots? I can't because I don't have a carrot right now, but let me see if I can show you with an apple since I want to eat one anyway. Oh God, guys, my body was in pain just now. Okay. Before I cut the apple though, I'm gonna try to put some shit away so my counters are less messy. In case you haven't noticed, one way to tell how depressed I am is by paying attention to the clutter on my space. And right now, everything is just on the surface. Like, I have double the amount of counter space that I've ever had before in my life, and it's still stocked with shit. And that's how you know I'm not doing well mentally. That's a zinc tablet. I'm just gonna wash my spatulas. Yes, essentially you cut on a bias, and after each cut you roll the carrot. Yep. So you're always cutting on a diagonal, but you roll the carrot like 90 degrees so that you end up with a different edge every time. So that the 2 edges you're creating on a single cut of carrot are not parallel. I did not know it was called a roll cut. But now we all do. All right, let's see how our chickpeas are doing after an hour of baking. Oh yeah, very toasty. Maybe too toast. This edge towards the back of the oven definitely got a little too toasty. You can see it. So what I'm gonna do now is find a dry bowl and put it in that bowl so we can stop cooking. This is not smart to be doing it with my bare hands. Oh, hi, Tuna. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Did you see where I dropped my chickpea? Did you see where I dropped that single? Oh, I found it. Okay. That was like a 5-minute rule. It's a chickpea. Tuna is gonna leave Friday, so this might be the last time you get to see her. Enjoy it, guys. Nice butthole shot, yes. It's crunchy. 350, 1 hour. Tuna. Tuna. Are you so sick and tired of me? Is it time for dinner? Did I feed you yet? I forgot. I don't think I fed you yet. Okay. Let's feed you. Let's feed you so that people can see you enjoy food. A little dinner. A little early dinner. Okay? How's dinner? Yeah? Good? Was it good, Tuna? Come here. Boop, 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 boop. All right, I'll leave you alone. All right, guys, let's go cut an apple. How exciting. How exciting is our life right now? An apple, a cutting board, a knife, a cat. I will first cut the apple into quarters, or maybe even eighths, so I can mimic a shape of a carrot. So we're gonna sliver this into eighths, and you can try to pretend that each of these apple wedges is a carrot. All right? So with this baby carrot, I cut it diagonally like this, and then I turn it and cut it diagonally like that. The knife is not moving direction, but the carrot is. So you just end up with like kind of irregular but organic geometric shapes. They're like kind of trapezoidal and parallel. Probably easier to see on a carrot than an apple. I feel like you've told me to try salt and apples before, and I feel like I tried it, and I feel like I was okay with it. But Lord knows I always eat too much salt anyway, and it's not good for my kidneys. So I will skip. to clarify that these roasted chickpeas were made from soaked but uncooked chickpeas. Meaning if you use 350 for an hour with canned chickpeas, it may not work exactly to be like this. This is crispy, but they were less waterlogged because they were only soaked and hydrated but not cooked. So, that's the difference. Every single one is crispy. There's a lot more variability if you use canned chickpeas. Mm-hmm. This tray is not as crispy, so it has to go back in. The other burnt tray is crispy. Alright, 25 minutes are up-ish on the brownie. Let's check for progress. This looks good, actually. It's like a puffy, but you kind of want fudgier brownies, so I'm actually going to pull these. I'm going to put another 5 minutes on the oven for our remaining chickpea batch. But that's it. I came, I saw, I baked. We don't know how good it tastes, but the burnt chickpeas are good. Burnt chickpeas are, in fact, very good. A lot of farts will be had in this household for the next few weeks. There is a slight peeling away on this edge from the pan. Ooh! Excuse me. Sorry. chickpea stuck in my throat. Ooh. Tuna. I can't talk anymore. Tell the people you love them. Tuna. Tuna. Ooh. Aw, pretty girl. You're so pretty. I've never made special brownies. I've eaten them once. Not good. You're so pretty. I have to go. Bye.